And younger men have a harder time being believed by the police than do the rest of us.
And I agree with that, because when I was younger, I would get stopped. What are you? And, you know, my parents had a nice car. What are you doing in this car? And I couldn't distinguish if it was because I was young or because I was African American, or maybe it was a combination.
I don't know, Don. If you look at the statistics, if you look at what's happened over the last 15 or 20 years, I haven't seen anybody white get gunned down for a traffic stop, but I've seen a lot of black and Latinos get gunned down for a traffic stop.
Okay, let's talk about Mexico. You emailed me, Warren, because you saw our conversation about Mexico last night, and you're like, we have got to talk about this. Okay, go for it. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think we need to be focusing on this. I mean, when you think about all the drugs that's coming into this country, and it's really just overtaking our teens. I mean, I can honestly say this, Don. You know this. I go around and I speak at college campuses all the time, and when I talk to these young men and women, I would say 95% of the room has either done drugs or know somebody who's done it.
Here's the thing, and mostly people have been saying this about marijuana,
Yep.
It is a double standard. The government is selling medical marijuana,
right.
yet they're arresting people who have small amounts of marijuana. And if you want to control it, if you want to make sure that what you're selling isn't going to kill anyone, or isn't going to be harmful to anyone if it's used as prescribed, wouldn't the best way to do it is to decriminalize it, or either to regulate it, Martha?
Well, the problem, though, is when you got Hillary Clinton saying we're as much to blame as the cartel leaders are in what's happening across here. Look, I am reconsidering my position on marijuana, because I think that it's right out there. But when you look at it, the border of the United States of America is as dangerous as the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan right now. It is a serious problem, and they're using the same methods, beheading people, shooting people down in their cars. We've got to take a serious look at this, but by blaming the users as much and the United States of America as much as the cartel runners, that's not going to get you anywhere.
Well, it's because
America plays a role in this, though. Even when you go back to when Reagan was in office and they were putting the drugs in the black community to support the Iran-Contra war. I mean, we play a big role in this. You don't believe that, Martha, but that was going on in the black community.
I don't believe it.
All right,
It was going on.
Do you guys remember this? Just what was the slogan for the Reagan administration for drugs?
Just say no.
Just say no. I'm saying just say no to any more conversation, because we're done with both
What
of you.
happened to DARE?
Hey, thank you guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thanks.
All right. Good to talk. Well, tonight our radio host, conservative Ben Ferguson, host of the Ben Ferguson Show on Radio America, and Warren Ballentine, author of The Truth About Black and White, a practical guide to race relations and money in the 21st century. They both join us right now. Okay, thank you guys for joining us. Did you hear the arrogance question?
Yeah.
And you know what? Ben, I got to start with you, because I've been hearing a lot of conservatives say, how dare him go and criticize the United States on a world stage?
Well, forget that for a second. I just truly was laughing at this week, because you had a president that gave an iPod to the Queen of England with speeches that he had made his life. Now, you want to talk about arrogance of the world. How arrogant are you to give an iPod
What do you think
to
of the Queen? Is the Queen arrogant?
Well, no, but to give your own
She gave him
speeches?
a plate of a picture of she and her husband.
I mean, yeah, but no, it gave him some pens as well. I mean, the reality is, yes, it's very bad on the international stage. When you start going around the world and you start apologizing all the time, it's like he went over there and he wanted to say, we don't longer want to be a leader of these 20 nations or for the world. We just want to be one of 20 nations at the G20.
Warren.
We just want to be average.
Go ahead, Warren. You're laughing. I see you laughing your head off over there.
You know what? I got to laugh at Ben, because what this president did is went over there and cleaned up the mess that the previous president had did. We got 8 years of hate. He's over there trying to rebuild bridges to make it where we can actually go overseas and have a common bond to make things better for everybody. He went over there, and the arrogance comment that he made wasn't about Americans. It was about this past president who went into Iraq when the world told him not to do it. That's what he was doing.
Look at what he was talking about. Today he talked about, and it's a worldview the man's talking about. It's not about the last administration all the time, even though he tries hard to do that. But today, even look at North Korea. He said we need a global demand, and we need to all get together. The reality is sometimes there's good and bad in the world, and sometimes you have to be the leader. You don't just let everybody come to the table and
hang on, Warren. Ben, what I think you're saying is that you don't need to air your dirty laundry. Everyone says, that's something that happens inside of families. But when you're the leader of the free world, as the U.S. president is the leader of the free world, shouldn't you really talk about issues that affect the world and our
Absolutely.
What people thought about us overseas, our reputation overseas, was not good after the past 8 years. You cannot deny that, conservative or liberal.
What this president is simply trying to do when he says he's reaching out to everybody, with North Korea even, he's trying to show the rest of the world that we are not going to take the same steps that we did.
Buzzer, that's a buzzer. That's a buzzer. That's going to have to be the last word on that. Let's talk about something that most everybody agrees on. The First Lady, a sensation over there and over here by most people's account. Warren?
Just look at her. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's eloquent. I mean, what fault could you find in this woman? None.
All right,
she's
Ben,
fantastic.
Ben, do you disagree?
I think she's beautiful. I think she's very nice. But the fact of the matter is, when I've got a lady walking out there on stage and waving, and more of the world's worried about that, you know what? Maybe the president should do his job being the president. Let the First Lady be the front person of smiling and waving for America. Maybe that's how it should work. The problem is, I feel like both of them are competing in a beauty pageant of who's got more friends and family.
Yeah, but you know, hang on. I mean, is it their fault though? And I think Saturday Night Live, it was very funny last night, sort of summed it up when they said the First Lady wore an outfit by not the Gap, by J. Crew, and that it sold out. Now, if we could only get her to drive a Chrysler.
That's great. So the only problem is there's real problems in America and around the world, and I don't want American Idol to be going to Europe. And
real problem is talking about the gun violence happening here in the U.S. The president addressed that overseas. Let's talk about that. Gun control, bringing back the assault weapons ban, Ben.
Name a place around the world where gun control has worked. The fact of the matter is law-abiding citizens actually abide by the laws.
You said there's no place around the world where gun control has worked?
Look at the UK. Look at the UK when they passed massive gun control laws, and look at their violence is drastically up. Look at their rape. It's drastically up.
It's drastically up, but Warren
it's drastically up.
Warren, it's still much lower than ours, even though it's up now.
No, it's not. Not around. No, look at London. That's wrong. The facts came out.
We looked at the stats last night. We looked at the stats last night, and we are way higher than Europe. This is what I'm going to say, Don, on this issue right here. Unfortunately, I'm going to agree with Ben here. Because of this new world order and everything that's happening with state police and all this other stuff, I think every American should be getting a gun right now because we don't know what's going on. But the fact of terrorism and everything else, I think we all should be. All right, well, you know what?
I'll pull it back a notch. All I know is that crazy people that do the things that we've seen over the last few days are very tragic, are going to do them whether you have gun control laws or not, because guess what? They're breaking the law and they're willing to kill themselves to do it. No law matters to a human being that's willing to kill themselves.
The real issue here really is more about people than about guns, and we need to sort of reach a consensus somewhere on this to try to get a handle on it. We want to talk about, I wanted to talk to you guys about other things, gay rights, because, of Iowa last week, but we're running out of time. I want to get to an issue, a very timely issue that sort of, it didn't come up just tonight, but it's going to happen probably, in about 20 minutes. We're going to start being able to see the photos of coffins of American men and women, service men and women coming home. That's going to be a huge issue come tomorrow.
Hallelujah. Thank God that this is happening. I think for America, sometimes you need that photo to put that perspective on what's going on. That's what happened in the Civil Rights Movement. That's what happened in Korea. Excuse me, in Vietnam, and I think that needs to happen right now.
Go ahead, Ben.
I think it's sad, and I'll tell you why. You're going to have people that are going to distort and pervert these photos into their own political gain and mission. And these men and women fought for their country. They signed up. There was no draft. They did it willingly. They fought for their country. Their families should be able, and their community should be able to honor them in their way. If they want to publicize it, my point is some families want to be honored, their loved ones to be honored. I don't have a problem with that. The problem is when you have a casket, what happens is it no longer becomes a human being, and there are people that will pervert that into their own political mission, and that's what scares and makes it sad. If you as a family want to put a photo out there, that's fine.
All right, Warren, you want 2 seconds? Are you cool?
I'm cool. I think Ben's wrong, but hey, we out of time.
Yeah, maybe.
You got a good golf game. I'll give you that.
Yeah, we can play some golf now. Oh my gosh,
these guys talking about golf all night. Hey, listen, maybe the way that we should approach this is the way when you go in to get your driver's license and you sign off on whether or not you want to be a donor. Maybe upon going into the services, maybe you sign off on that. That's a good idea. Thank you both.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. With me now, Ben Ferguson. He's the host of the syndicated Ben Ferguson Show on Radio America. Hello, sir, and welcome back. Warren Ballentine hosts his own nationally syndicated radio show. It's called The Warren Ballentine Show. Gentlemen, both of you. Warren, you first. What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a GM, General Motors.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Very proud to drive one.
Ben?
I drive a BMW, and I'm very proud to drive that as well.
Ben, you're a conservative. A lot of conservatives say, buy American.
Yeah,
Come on, you're driving a German car.
Yeah, I'm all about supporting small businesses in America. I'm also about supporting the local guy around the corner. But the reality of the matter is, when I buy a car, it's a lot of money, and it's an investment. I don't want a plastic dashboard. I don't want my car for people to go, oh, yeah, I drove that 2 weeks ago when I got a renter car in so-and-so a city. I want something that is nice. And